by NHTSA.
You know, it seems like everybody's talking about the traffic on Valley Roads these days. You know what else everybody's talking about? The absolute best restaurant to take your family and friends to, Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. Now with 2 Valley locations. No one does it better than Kasai, where talented teppanyaki chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is dinnertainment at its best, where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's the perfect choice for any occasion. Choose from over 50 different items and combinations of teppanyaki. Looking for great dining without the show? Kasai offers an awesome selection on Asian-inspired dishes and tasty sushi. Happy hour deals daily from 6 p.m. and enjoy outdoor dining on the heated patio. So whether you're here for spring training, March Madness, or just to enjoy the Arizona sunshine, don't just take your guests to dinner. You take them to Kasai Japanese Steakhouse with 2 locations, Scottsdale and now in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppen.com. That's Kasai Teppen.com or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
80% of youth in Arizona don't drink, smoke, or use drugs. Want to know the reason why? It's you. Kids say not disappointing their parents is one of the main reasons they choose not to drink or use drugs. Visit TalkNowAZ.com because while you might worry you aren't getting through, you are. Keep it up and stay up to date about the latest Arizona drug trends at TalkNowAZ.com. This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
When it's time for the March Mania brackets to bust wide open. As I was saying, it's mad. The Mania of March at BetUS.com is all about those buzzer beat bonus offers. And when the madness starts and Cinderella man steps onto the BetUS always has your back with back-to-back 125% sign-up bonuses on your first 3 deposits and even 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS.com Sportsbook and Casino, where the game... Join today. BetUS Sportsbook and Casino, where the game begins.
KQFN AM Tempe, K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM, K240 EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM. Listen to Jim Rome and the Jungle, weekday mid-mornings on 1580 and 99.3. The Fanatic, live from the Harmon Solar Studios.
All right, people, settle down. Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's Monday here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside Randy White. Got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580. As we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. Today, there's an awful lot going on. In fact, we only have 1.5 hours worth of show today. Oh, no. Anyway, we got the national championship coming up. Broadcast starts at 4:30. The actual game starts at like 9 p.m. I'm pretty sure that's when that happens. What time does the actual game start? That we're starting this thing at 4:30. What time does it actually start?
I believe it's 5.
Okay, whatever. No, I think it's more like 6, but whatever. Don't care. Here's the thing. Today is not just national championship day for the NCAA tournament, but it's also very important. It's trading cards for grown-ups day.
Trading cards for grown-ups day?
Yeah, that's what they call it. I guess they made cards to go into gum and cigarettes back in the 30s or 1800s or something. And so that at first, that people were like, it was just something to keep the packaging stiff. and then something for people to look at, like, oh, because we didn't have phones back in the 1800s. They didn't have cell phones to sit there and look at. So you had to read the cereal box, or you had to read the tobacco. And so they started doing that. And then later on, it was baseball cards with gum and stuff like that. And now there's all sorts like Magic the Gathering games and whatever, Pokemon. So today is National Trading Cards for Grown-Ups Day.
Trading cards for grown-ups day.
It's a really dumb day. I mean, listen, I like cards. I like football cards. Berg helped get me into cards and stuff. They're a lot of fun. There's like a history on these cards.
You have a pretty good collection too.
Yeah. Well, it started because of the Berg, and then it really continued because of Walgreens. Walgreens had these great, I don't think they have them anymore, $5 for a box of cards of football players from like the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and current. And there'd be a cool mix of them. And I don't know if these cards were knockoffs, reprints. I don't care. Here's the thing. I never got into the cards to try to make money off them. I only got into the cards because I liked them. They were fun. So I used to go there and grab a $5 box of cards, and we'd bust it up with my boys, and we'd like, hey, what do you think of this? And we would trade them, and we got our notebooks, and we got our boxes and stuff. And then they changed it. They didn't do that so much. And then grown-ups found out about it, and they went over and started just grabbing all of them off the shelf. They do that at Target and Walmart. It's kind of a sickness, I guess. But the Berg could explain that more in detail. But anyway, so yeah. But then, like all things, when we moved on to other stuff. So I have some pretty cool cards.
All right.
The Berg always will slip a few cards whenever we see him. So, but so today is really more of a day for the Berg than it is, for me. But trading cards for grown-ups day. Oh,
so trading cards for grown-ups day.
Yeah, I guess so. Sounds like a dumb day though. Just I don't know. Just when you say it out loud, sounds dumb.
See this back here, Jeffco? I don't know. Well, my garbage can's in the way there.
Yeah, it's a great garbage can. Nicely done. What's your point?
Behind the garbage can, there's a box. It's full of trading cards, and then to the left, over this way, there's 1, 2, 3 binders.
Yeah,
full of trading cards. So I'm a bit of a collector as well.
Yeah. Some people are collectors for the money aspect. Some people are collectors just because they love their teams, or it's just kind of something fun to do. It was something fun to do with the boys, So,
I don't know if you recall the story, the tragic story of.
Oh yes, I remember. I was trying to avoid that because I know you get upset when you think about it.
Tragic story when I was married. My first wife, she got into my original
worst wife
trading cards. Yeah. Oh yeah. I had a box of trading cards. Keon probably has never heard this story ever.
I have not. No.
Perhaps the saddest story ever told. I had many, many, many cards from my youth. Growing up, I'm as old as almost as the earth. I was
very
born,
old, Keon. I don't know if you've noticed. He's extremely old.
Rocks were still soft when I was born, and I had.
He's
all
the only
the
man
greats.
that could make a picture smell like Metamucil.
He's
old.
I had many, many, many. I had some rookie cards that were worth lots of money. I had a Ryan. I had a Pete Rose, Johnny Bench rookie cards. Probably would have been a lot of money. And my first wife, she threw
like
those away.
Pete Rose, she cheated too.
Yeah. Anyway, saddest story ever told.
I'm sorry. My apologies. Anyway, so all that money just poof in the wind, So, and you've rebuilt. You've got some nice cards though, right?
I have some cards. Yeah.
Pineapple Express says, I didn't realize Randy collected Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
No.
You play Dungeons and Dragons too, Randy? He says.
No.
Average Joe says, good afternoon, gentlemen. As it should surprise no one, in Angel Hernandez's second game of the year, he absolutely sucked during that Yankees game, completely missed an obvious ball and then called a pitch right down the middle, a ball. Dude's been missing calls since 1991. He's just trolling us now. I think that he does it on purpose. I
was just going to say, I wonder if he just doesn't care. He's just collecting a paycheck and he really doesn't care.
I'll tell you this much. I don't mind it happening to the Yankees. Fine with it. I mean, I hope he calls all your games.
Well, there's that.
Berg says it's Jeffrey's fault. He did not acknowledge the tribal chief. What's he talking about? What do you mean? What are you talking about? The tribal chief?
I don't know.
Are you talking about the eclipse? Because that's normal. There's nothing spectacular or magical about an eclipse.
We saw that one coming for a while.
Yeah.
I just like to say I'm glad that we all survived.
How dumb are we as people, though? Can I just tell you, some schools around the country had to cancel class today because they were worried that dumb kids would stare at the eclipse, hurt their eyes, and then they'd get sued. So they had to cancel class because they were like, we can't afford these lawsuits
only in
because
America,
of how
man.
dumb these kids are.
Only in America, man.
And then you got conspiracy idiots been telling people you should just stare into the eclipse, no eye protection. Big government just doesn't want. They're trying to sell you sunglasses. That's what it is. Just look right at it. You don't need to listen to big government. I don't know if anybody actually did it, but Mr. Wilbur can probably show you the ropes. Jeez. Actually, he can't show you any ropes. Now that I think about it,
Ladies and gentlemen, we're off to a running start here this week.
So, and then there was another myth that was going around. How dumb is this? They're like, you can't eat during an eclipse. NASA came out and had to debunk this. They're saying the radiation from the sun is different during an eclipse and it'll poison your food.
I mean, if anything, there's less of it. How is that? Yeah. How would that happen?
It's just dumb. Just dumb.
You do. Okay. There's an object blocking the sun. That is what an eclipse is. How would there be more or different radiation? That doesn't make any sense at all. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You really can't, because anything that you say when you use somebody else as a reference to say, look, science says, is just proof that there's a conspiracy going on to them. It's ridiculous.
By the way, the eclipse didn't really do much here. It got a little dim. But how long did it actually last? Well, if you were in the right place, 4 minutes and 28 seconds. If you were in Mexico or Texas or one of those places. And by the way, 4 minutes and 28 seconds, that is 1 second longer than Bonnie Tyler's total eclipse of the heart.
Oh boy.
That's a coincidence. That's something.
That's pretty close. Yeah.
Speaking of songs,
yeah,
I sent this to you, Randy, because you're not on the Twitters. But I found that. Remember last week I was talking about a certain song that.
Yeah, it was a heart song. Yeah.
This woman, it was she's looking to get knocked up because her man is shooting blanks and stuff. So she just finds some random dude, and there was this whole song about it, and it turns out it's called "All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You." And what it is, it's worse than I thought. So I Googled it, and I found it, and I started watching it was from 1990. Yeah, I started watching the video, and I'm like, holy crap, it's worse than I even thought. She went, who she found to knock her up because her man was shooting blanks? A hitchhiker.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a hitchhiker.
Yeah.
It's just some random hitchhiker she picks up. She's like, hey, his sperm will do. And just, wow. I mean, it's a disturbing song.
It is.
You should go and find it. And if you can't, go to my Twitter at RadioPal1580. Did you watch the whole video?
I did all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This had to have been something from her past because there's no way.
Ann or Nancy? Which one? Which one of the Wilson sisters?
If she pulled up looking the way she looked while she was singing, nobody's getting in the car. That's all I'm going to say. You're not going to achieve that mission doing it that way. Anyway, so
hence the random hitchhiker, I'm assuming.
Yes, on a dark and
she
rainy
couldn't
night.
have walked into a bar like that. That's just.
I thought that's what the original
pulled
song was
over
about. She just grabbed some dude in a bar, but I forgot it was a hitchhiker.
Stranger danger out on the highways and byways of this great country.
This guy's taking her bra off with a metal hook, just like you don't pick up hitchhikers, Nancy, or whoever you are.
Ann or Nancy.
By the way, I thought I'd seen listen, I'm over the eclipse. I'll be honest. I went out there and my wife, we did the pinhole and Oh, there you go. Over there by the pool, we saw, it wasn't that big a deal. And it was kind of cool. And she really enjoyed it. And then I just took my camera and I pointed it up there and I covered my eyes so that I wouldn't burn out my retinas. And I realized that the lens flare actually would show the eclipse while the sun was really bright in the picture off to the side. I posted this on the Twitter too. You could actually see the eclipse. And after I did that, that's when somebody told me, oh, yeah, you shouldn't do that. It'll burn your phone out. Uh-oh.
Well,
but I had a Samsung Ultra and it didn't burn my phone out. I was very, very happy about that.
There you go.
But I just, I didn't care. It's like, well, better the phone than my eyeballs.
That's true.
Didn't want to burn my eyeballs
You
out.
can always get a new phone.
So anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, because, back when I was a kid, like I was 8 years old in Oregon, there was a total eclipse. It was 1979, and it was went straight across the Pacific Northwest. And I remember doing the whole paper plate thing and everybody, ooh, and I remember being really not impressed then. And I was like, because then I went home and I was just like, oh, man, that's a way better picture on the TV, even in 79. It was just like, oh, wow, look at that. Didn't look like that on the paper plate. Mm-hmm. That was stupid. I could have just came home and watched this on TV, and I'd have to sit there and stare at a white piece of paper we're all hanging around outside. Seemed dumb. And even today, it was like, okay, yeah, we saw it. Okay, there it is. I kind of like that I got it in my camera. But then when we walked inside, we had the NASA TV on. We're like, holy crap, that's way better than on the paper plate. Same experience.
Yeah.
I don't need to go seeing any more eclipses.
History seems to always repeat itself, Jeff.
I don't know why I thought it would change.
The total eclipse, if you're actually in the right place, is cool to be outside for, even if you're not even looking at the sun, just because it gets dark, and that's pretty awesome. But if you're getting the partial eclipse, I don't know.
Well, the wife and I were thinking we would go to Spain, and they're going to have a total eclipse in Spain in a year or two. Because we got married there in a castle. So we thought, well, maybe we go back there. It's our 10th anniversary coming up, and we'll go and see the eclipse there, and then have the appropriate glasses so we don't have to screw around with a dumb paper plate. Might be.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah. Me, I'll just I'll stay here and probably just eat lunch.
Yeah, I'm just looking for a free trip to Spain. She might go for the eclipse. I'm just going because, oh, look, Spain. It's nice. I don't know. Anyway, so what were we talking about? How do we get on this?
I don't know.
Oh, right.
We're talking about Angel Hernandez, and it kind of it rolled into eclipses. And
Well, he's got a total eclipse of the brain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Let's get to the text line, 888-368-1580. Big George says, hello, gentlemen. Okay, I know where this is going.
Yep.
I'm going to pause you a second. He says, 1 hour and 30-minute show today. Is that because of the solar eclipse?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
It is true. It's a total eclipse of Westwood One wanting to play a lot of commercials between now and the time the actual game starts.
Tip off is 6:20, by the way.
Sure. 6:20? Are you kidding?
I'm not.
2 hours of pregame. Okay.
I'm not kidding.
I'm not complaining.
That's what it says on the Yahoo Sports.
Sounds good to me.
Somebody's got to pay Kevin Harlan's enormous contract.
Well, the Hairspray budget
alone.
Yeah.
For him and Iron Eagle. I mean,
is he doing the call today?
Iron Eagle is, I believe.
Oh,
yeah.
Moist One says trading cards for grown-ups. Are those the cards you get on the Vegas Strip? No. Different. Not trading cards of grown-ups. It's for grown-ups.
Are they handing out on the Vegas Strip? Are they cards of the Kraken,
porn.
Or what are the football team? The Raiders.
Just porn. It's all porn. Anybody hands you anything when you're walking through Vegas, it's a handful of porn.
Just throw it onto the ground there.
Well, everybody else does. Yeah.
All right.
At least back last time I was there. Navy Brad says, greetings all. Great news. I've bought an airline ticket to fly out to North Carolina May 2nd, and I'm going to meet my sister finally. Oh, good for you, man. That is great for you.
Congratulations.
Say hi to my mom for me. Wait, I'm flying out around that same date to go hang out with my mom. We're all going to Oregon, actually.
What if his sister is your mom?
Nah. No, there's no way. No, there's no way.
Okay.
Hey, what's your sister's name, Navy Brad? What if he comes back and says, Jeffrey's mom?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It must be true. CK says, good afternoon, fellas. Randy, beer me, please. I don't even want to read the rest of this text, but I'm going to. What does Dusty Rhodes think about his son Cody winning the title belt that was taken from Dusty during the fake wrestling matches in the past? Now, I added the rest of that, but just put it into context because I think he's talking about fake WrestleMania.
Listen, Daddy, America Dream, Dusty Rhodes here. What was once mine is mine again because my offspring, the fruit of my looms, came out and took it back for me. And now he is carrying it for the family, and he's carrying it on for the family name. And no one, listen up very closely now. The American Dream is talking. Nobody will ever take it away again. It's going to be in the American Dream's lineage from here until eternity. This is the American Dream. I'm out.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, CK. Appreciate it. Average Joe says, you got to watch that Angel Hernandez video. He says, I meant to say it was a bulk. Heavy Metal Maniac says, guys, what he was talking about was a reference from the WWE. Well,
guys.
Who was talking about? What is he talking about?
Berg? What does Berg have to do with the WWE?
I don't know. Berg says, Big George, has he fired anyone over the eclipse? Oh, does he mean the tribal chief? Is that what he's talking about?
We are off and running today on Monday.
No idea what's happening.
I don't know either. Who is the tribal chief? How did we? It's the second time I've heard that now. I don't know what that means.
Blind guy, Mr. Wilbur says, I added that just so people knew. A lot of new listeners maybe don't realize Mr. Wilbur is running the furniture blind. So he says, I've got a rope. It's the same rope that the ASU fans are going to be using soon. If you don't hire an athletic director and get some relevance back to that university again.
Or relevance. I mean,
hey, Bear Claw. Bear Claw says, if the Pittsburgh Naked Bowling was smart, wait, what? They would have had their event today. They could have called it Brownout Eclipse. I don't remember the Pittsburgh Naked Bowling.
It was the bowling alley. They were doing nude bowling for some reason.
No.
I don't remember what the reason was, but they just wanted to, so they rented out the bowling alley.
Oh no.
I don't understand what about the experience of bowling is.
Can you imagine people in
being
Pittsburgh
naked? But all right.
People in Pittsburgh being naked and bowling.
I think that's the thing. Just stop right there. No,
we don't even need to get to the bowling part.
Yeah,
let's just not imagine Pittsburgh people being naked.
Wow,
maybe Brad.
I've had enough there.
Says his sister's name is Valerie, not my mom's name, so it's good.
Huh.
Heavy Metal Maniac says, yes, that was a reference to the tribal chief Roman Reigns. No idea who that is.
He's one of the
fake wrestlers.
Fake
wrestler. Donnie says, acknowledge your tribal chief, Keon. Why Keon?
I don't know who he is. Well, now I know he's Roman Reigns. I know now. I don't watch. I don't know anything. What's going on?
Jeffrey, had you acknowledged your tribal chief, we wouldn't have had to summon the ghost of Dusty Rhodes. I have no idea what you people are saying about this.
Just a bunch of pro wrestling shows on a show that notoriously hates pro wrestling. I don't understand this at all. I'm glad you had a good weekend with the tribal chief or whatever, but I just don't care. I can't help you. I have nothing to add to this.
Just blame the eclipse.
Lacrosse guy says, did they still wear the bowling shoes? I think you have to. That is a rule.
I think you have to, but it's just.
Then you take the stuff, they spray the shoes out. Just bug bomb the entire bowling alley with the same stuff after the naked people leave.
Yeah. And just don't come back for 24 hours.
Or burn it down. Listen, when we come back, can we talk about the basketball from over the weekend, the Final Four and the ladies championship, and then of course what's going to happen tonight between the Purdue Boilermakers and UConn Huskies? Spoiler: UConn wins. But we just got to talk about it though, right? And we got an hour left to do it. So come on back. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The men's college basketball national championship tonight in Arizona. The Purdue Boilermakers taking on the UConn Huskies. It's a matchup of two #1 seeds in their regions. Purdue playing in their first national championship game, while UConn is the defending national champs and looking for national title #6. The Boilermakers are led by Zach Edey. He's averaging nearly 25 points per game, but they are a 6.5-point underdog tonight against the Huskies, who are minus 300 on the money line, while Purdue is plus 240. The over-under in tonight's contest at 145.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play, from the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a walk-off grand slam or a base hit to center field. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem or wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
You know, it seems like everybody's talking about the traffic on Valley Roads these days. You know what else everybody's talking about? The absolute best restaurant to take your family and friends to. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. Now with 2 Valley locations. No one does it better than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is dinnertainment at its best, where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for any occasion. Choose from over 50 different items and combinations of teppanyaki. Looking for great dining without the show? Kasai offers an awesome selection on Asian-inspired dishes and tasty sushi. Happy hour deals daily from 6 p.m. and enjoy outdoor dining on the heated patio. So whether you're here for spring training, March Madness, or just to enjoy the Arizona sunshine, don't just take your guests to dinner. You take them to Kasai Japanese Steakhouse with 2 locations, Scottsdale and now in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppan.com. That's Kasai Teppan.com, or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight, and all the wagertainment you need. Plus, hopefully, we win a couple bets along the way. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Join myself and Nick Costos and tune into You Better You Bet. Weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Hey, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. 8074 text in says, this is the best bad show on the radio. Sounds like me and a bunch of my drunk friends trying to sound intelligent. Hey, joke's on you. We actually are intelligent, unlike you and your friends.
Yeah.
So there. Walter Mellon says, hey, guys, can you play some fake laughter for your WWE jokes? They're about as funny as wrestling is real.
Guys,
I don't have WWE jokes.
Yeah, we weren't making fake wrestling jokes.
I don't watch it, and people keep texting in about the tribal chief, and I'm just trying to say, I do not give a damn. That's not a joke. That's just a fact.
Yeah, it's fake.
What
I
do you
haven't cared
give?
since I was 12.
What do you give?
I don't know, Randy. I'm out of things. The last
Keon is just out of things to give.
The last rat's ass I had to give, I gave a while ago. So
there it is.
Don't even have that to give.
It's the eclipse.
Yeah.
There's evidence effect on everybody. Oh, I remember we had a earthquake a couple days ago there in New York.
Yes.
A 4.8 earthquake, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So you're thinking to yourself is like, okay, let's see if I'm in New York and there's an earthquake, it's going to be kind of scary. They don't have those very often. There's one guy though in Pennsylvania who had it the worst, and his name is Justin Allen, and he was just about 40 miles from where the epicenter was in New Jersey, right?
Okay.
And so he was laying down. So you think, well, if I'm laying down, I've been in an earthquake laying down. I was in Palm Springs. I was lying in this bed, and the bed was on tile. So it started moving pretty good. There was, it was like moving around the room. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'd never been in an earthquake before. I was happy. Just like I was happy to be in Minnesota when it started snowing and everybody else wanted to murder me for being happy that it was snowing. So here I am. I'm sorry. Here is Justin Allen in Horsham, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philly. And he was lying there, but he was also halfway through a 20-minute surgery called a vasectomy.
Oh, no.
The room starts to shake right in the middle of the vasectomy.
Oh, no.
Good news is he'll never have children again.
Well,
you can't mess that up, right?
Well, if you look on the bright side, I guess.
Yeah, it just, I guess, did you know you're awake for that procedure?
No, that changes the math on that a lot.
Yeah,
the whole,
look, if you get down in the belly of the beast on this guy, you're going to have to put me under.
So while I'm out, I want a vasectomy, a colonoscopy, and check my prostate.
Yeah, you might as well just do the big three. Get them over with.
That's like dropping your vehicle off at the dealership. I'm pretty sure there's a recall on there too somewhere. Go ahead. But my God.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being there's certain sharp things I don't want in that region during any kind of an earthquake, please.
All right, sir, you're going to feel a little pressure here. Can you imagine? That would scar me for life.
Yeah, well.
Wow. You weren't kidding. I was going to feel some pressure. Wow.
But I guess if your objective was to never have kids again, problem solved.
Well, that's only half the objective. The full objective of a vasectomy is to never have kids again while still being able to have sex.
Mm-hmm.
Only half of that objective happens if you have a vasectomy during an earthquake.
Oh, don't get me wrong, Keon. I am anti-stab me in the junk. I think a lot of people listening are.
I think most of us are. Yeah.
Moist one? Can't be sure. Can't be sure about it.
I mean, I can't even believe it. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Donnie says, "You're fake, Jeffrey." That was the lamest comeback. That's how I know how right I am about fake wrestling. When all Donnie can muster up is, "You're fake, Jeffrey." That's just sad.
There are third graders that are wittier than that, man. Try a little.
By the way, we are going to talk about how you are singularly responsible for anything bad that happens with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Because you didn't listen to me. I said, when you talk so much crap, you are bad karma, and everything that goes bad is going to be because of you. Suns beat the Timberwolves the other night.
Pretty handily.
Yeah. So that's on Donnie. Suns shouldn't have been able to do that. So that's Donnie's fault. So maybe be nicer, Donnie. See what happens. Berg says Dune the movie and Dune 2 is scripted. Both forms of entertainment, to each their own. We've never argued over something being scripted versus wrestling. But see, wrestling pretends to be a real sport. They actually do stories on it on some sports websites. And I'm like, this is fake. It's all fake. You don't put stories about, you don't post stories about like football movies on there and pretend it was real. I'm not saying that Dune is real or Timothy Shamalama Ding Dong is some chosen one for some spices. I think it's paprika. And I don't know, the guy who stars in that movie, Willy Wonka. And so, no, that argument, well, movies are scripted. Yeah, but they're not pretending to be a real thing. We know like movies aren't real.
If you want to watch pro wrestling, go do it. But then don't text into a sports show asking us to talk about it. It's not sports. It's just entertainment. That's just that's what it is.
Baker's Cocky Hen says wrestling is real. You can bet on it. Can you really bet on wrestling? Come on. They would not with a reputable sports book.
No, that has to be like one of those overseas books that just they don't mind taking your money if you're stupid enough to give it away.
Wow.
Because I haven't seen anything about it like on FanDuel or anything like that. That would be crazy. That would be crazy.
CK says your beloved NFL is fake and scripted. No, it's not. Prove it, and then I'll stop watching that too.
Like in the 90s, the actual move was in pro wrestling to just admit that it was fake. Like that was a whole big scandal and a big deal. Like I can't believe the WWF admitted it. The football is not scripted.
8074 thinks this is going to hurt my feelings. Super Genius has figured out wrestling is fake. Good job. Somebody just showed up just to troll us. Or me specifically.
Maybe just you specifically, but that's just...
figured it out at 12, unlike the Berg and CK and Donnie.
The people that are texting us right now like it's real, that's who we're talking to. What are you doing?
Average Joe says, Blair Witch Project. That was a true movie.
Okay.
Then why did you use air quotes when you said that? Can we just...
they publicized the Blair Witch Project like it was real, but like it wasn't.
I really just want to get back to the basketball. I don't know if they're going to let me.
We'll see. Hopefully.
Kiss the Cook says, nope. No scalpel to the apples. Apples? What? You might want to see a doctor if you're calling yours apples.
Apples?
Those are huge.
My friend, how do you sit?
Props to you if they're not unhealthy, but I got a feeling the word metastasize might come up. And you just don't want to let them get that far. Okay, let's talk about what's going on. Let's talk about the Final Four. Exactly what we thought would happen happened. Exactly what Keon said was going to happen happened with the two games. And now you got the Purdue Boilermakers taking on the UConn Huskies tonight in State Farm Stadium. It's really, you got to look hard. You got to squint to see the itty bitty court there at the bottom of the stadium, but it is there. Kind of like when you're trying to see the eclipse and you have this teeny little thing on the paper there with the same thing. If you go to the stadium and try to see what's happening, they're also, I thought we had a pretty good jumbotron at the Cardinals Stadium, but then people were complaining watching the Final Four saying that the screens wasn't very big or something. Maybe they were pointing the wrong way.
I don't know.
Anyway, back to so go ahead. Do you want to give us your anal analysis on the how the Huskies are going to beat the Boilermakers?
Yeah, I mean, I can keep it pretty quick. It's just a matter of you have a big man that can actually go up against Zach Edey in Donovan Clingan. So like it's not a complete wash. I do think that that's going to be a difficult cover for him anyway, but it does mean that you don't have to put extra people to doubling Zach Edey or making him uncomfortable in any particular kind of way, because you have a big man who can match up. And I do think that this is a really cool big man battle that we've got going on in the NCAA.
7'4" Zach Edey versus 7'2" Donovan Clingan. And this is it's going to be fun. That part of it will be fun. Now, do you think that they're going to have to both be on each other the entire time they're on the floor, right? You can't put smaller guys on these guys.
No, you absolutely can't.
But you could tell them to switch up and defend somebody else. Meaning when Zach Edey is on offense, then you got to go over there and try to get Zach Edey on him. But if it was somebody on defense, you can move around and change that, right? Or do you still have to just big guy the entire time?
You have to, because if you're on defense, and Zach Edey's coming the other way, what you do not want is Donovan Clingan guarding somebody that's not Zach Edey. You got to have the 7-footers guarding each other. Obviously, if you're on offense, you're going to try and get the mismatch where you can. So, you expect a lot of screens, a lot of pick and roll action to try and figure out ways to get Zach Edey on defenders who are not equipped to guard him, or Donovan Clingan as well. Like you want those mismatches, but it can also work against you if Zach Edey or Donovan Clingan wind up guarding a guard they're not fast enough, I think, in space to be able to. You can put your hands up if you want to,
shooting.
but that if that guy crosses you up 15 feet away from the basket,
Right,
there's
it's
no one
over.
protecting the rim, right? So like you really don't want them that far away from the bucket. Otherwise, you're taking away what they do that makes them special defensively.
It's going to get zony, you think, huh?
I don't know if it's going to get zony, but there's going to be a lot of screens if there isn't. And I expect a whole lot of that. I do think the guards are really interesting as well in this matchup. I think Braden Smith for Purdue is somebody who could be a factor in this game, because if you're going to say that Zach Edey and Donovan Clingan are going to kind of balance each other out, I do like what Braden Smith brings to the table in terms of getting shots for a lot of his teammates, not just Zach Edey. And then Tristan Newton for the Huskies has just been amazing.
He's comparable, both him and it's funny because we're looking at two tall guys, but Smith and Newton, they're comparable in the way they play. So what is the deficit? Which team has the biggest deficit? And it's got to be Purdue, right?
It has to be Purdue, just because I think that there are more scorers on UConn. There are a lot of guys who can get a bucket. Big game like this, finding who's the person who's able to get hot in the game, that's really important. And the more guys that you have who can really score, the more likely you are to find that person in the game who can take it over. And I think that UConn just has more of those big time players than Purdue does. Not that Purdue doesn't have them. So I think it actually is going to be a really good game. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Kiss the Cook says 2 7+ footers in tonight's game. I'll take the 7-footer that can jump. Well, I feel like they can both jump, right?
They can both jump.
One of them doesn't have to as much as the other.
Edey is not the big leaper, but I don't think that matters when you're 300 pounds. I just you bump the guy away, you make some space. That's just how that's going to work.
Pull the Plug says, is this the Klingon from Star Trek? Because Klingons aren't scripted. Yeah, they are scripted by the nature that they don't actually exist. Klingon, whatever his name is, he's not scripted. He's a real human being.
He's not a Klingon. No.
Kiss the Cook, thank you for that. Bruno Baller says, if you want a total chalk on your bracket, you have this matchup on your bracket. Purdue versus Connecticut.
Yeah, it was an anti-chalk year for me, and that was a bad decision.
My bracket's in pretty good shape right now. I had UConn and Houston. That's who I had at the end, but I still have UConn to win, so my bracket can do better. Taking a look at the bracket contest, let's see there. I'll tell you what, Purdue or UConn decides it, because in the top 10, they either have Purdue or UConn. No exceptions. And it looks like somebody named Brandon and Brian, they are going toe-to-toe. Whichever wins will have had UConn or Purdue. Right now, your number one guy, Brandon, has Purdue. Number two guy, Brian, has UConn. And this is also interesting with third place has the same points as second place. So no matter what happens, they will tie each other. There is a chance for Mario, who's down in fourth place, tied with Random Texter. There is a chance if Purdue wins tonight, if they pull off the upset, that Mario will leap up to second place. So it is not decided yet on our big old 1580 Fanatic Harmon Solar NCAA March Madness bracket. So tonight's game is going to mean a lot to an awful lot of people. Listen, we got to take a break. We'll get caught up on the text line when we come back. And also we've got to talk about, the ladies championship over the weekend. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-8787. That's 1-800-280-8787. Or go to selectquote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-8787. Details on example rate at selectquote.com.
Hey guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Did you know Harman Solar has gone super high tech? There's an amazing tool at harmansolar.com that'll give you an instant ballpark solar estimate using satellites from space. You just type in a little information, and within seconds, you'll have an idea of just how little money it takes to save big on that monthly electric bill. I did it, and within seconds, they measured my roof and calculated my savings. It's very impressive. Go to harmansolar.com and give it a try yourself. That's harmansolar.com.
We see them every day. People driving using their phones. The sneak-a-peeker or the fast scroller who can quickly become the fender benderer, the got-a-ticketer, or the driver who killed someone. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Life is full of bright moments, but sometimes those moments can seem too far away. Trained and caring crisis specialists in Arizona can assist you with any situation, big or small. Free and confidential help is only one text away, day or night. Text the word HOPE to 4HOPE. That's HOPE to 44673. These moments matter, and so do you. This message is sponsored by Solari Crisis and Human Services.
Everybody's got a podcast these days. Comedy, politics, true crime, you name it. But how many actually teach you anything useful? Harman Solar has an entertaining podcast that is vital if you've been thinking about looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Ralph and Ben explore the intricacies of utilities, equipment, processes, and more. Their primary objective is to educate and empower you to make informed decisions on your solar journey. So increase your knowledge, not your bills. Go check it out right now. It's the Harman Solar Podcast at harmansolar.com.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
So, what's your favorite thing about sports? The excitement, the action, or the 5-meat pizza and the six-pack?
Bingo.
That's what we thought. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Dave Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Lacrosse guy says, man, I got duped by that Blair Witch movie. Hate to admit that. Keep that between us. Whoops. You got to lead with don't read this out loud on the text line.
You got to start with that, man.
CK says, you thinking NFL isn't scripted? Oh, my God. Just... It's the same as people who think wrestling isn't scripted. That's not true.
No.
Here's the thing. I can sit down and watch wrestling and prove it without any help. Bam, right there. In front of my eyes, I can tell it's
really
fake.
Punching the guy that he's not actually punching?
Yeah.
Oh, and also...
If you got proof that football is scripted in any way, you need to release it because I see those games and I'll tell you what, it's not scripted, but I wouldn't be surprised if there are certain conversations between the NFL and the referees every now and then. I wouldn't be surprised if they do things with scheduling or they do certain things to try to push things in a certain direction. But outside of that, there's no way it's scripted.
That's not a script, but also, and more to the point, you don't have proof. So if you're going to say something like that, provide evidence or go away. Like people just say stuff and it's just like, oh, I'm supposed to believe you?
Who's the a-hole writer who decided that Aaron Rodgers was going to get his Achilles blown out 45 seconds?
Week 1. And you know the NFL loves the Aaron Rodgers.
Well, now, come on, guys. You know for a fact that here recently Hollywood had a large writer's strike. I mean, can you imagine, more drama than Aaron Rodgers 3 plays into the season after all the hype going down with an Achilles tear? Come on, there was obviously
a giant.
Somebody wrote that out.
It didn't help the NFL at all.
No, it hurt them because New York is a giant market. There's a giant market now that has to sit down and watch Zach Wilson try to play football well.
Yeah.
It's the wrong drama.
I know. I kid. I tease. Come on, man.
Heavy Metal Maniac says, ice cold beer here on my way to Cardinal Stadium. Sell the beer at the championship game. Ice cold beer for Heavy Metal Maniacs. Baker's Cocky Hen says, Edie doesn't get into foul trouble. He knows how to play the game. Klingon isn't used to guarding guys like this.
Look,
Big East has big dudes that cannot post up.
Yeah, that might be true, but the UConn has got some incredible players. UConn has, in my opinion, at least 3 guys that are going to be NBA guys. Now, Purdue, maybe Edie, maybe.
No, Edie's not a maybe. Edie's going to the NBA.
Well,
I don't know if I want to.
But I've been watching through this tournament because we've had so much time off. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I've been watching a lot of Edie, and he does one thing: he pirouettes left, he pirouettes right. That's his only move. He doesn't have anything else. So if he does go to the NBA, he's going to be a project. It's not going to be like. That kid for Oklahoma City, what's his name for Oklahoma City?
Oh, Chet
Holmgren. Yeah.
It's
not going to be like that.
But Holmgren was a guy that played guard and then had a growth spurt. So he obviously has a different skill set than what Edie has, who's kind of more of your traditional big. And he is going to be a project, but he's not going to be a lottery pick. He's going to be probably later in the first round.
I don't think he's going to be a lottery pick.
But he's an NBA player.
Well,
I mean,
I submit to you guys who know more about the NBA than me. I just don't know that he's going to be like a high draft pick. I just can't.
Not a high draft pick, but he'll be drafted and play in the league.
All right.
Kiss the Cook says, why does Edie always look like he's masturbating when he's shooting free throws? I don't want to watch the game now.
That's not something that I've noticed. I'll have to keep an eye on.
Oh boy.
I don't.
Baker's Cocky Hen says the WWE and the aliens made remote control football so we could script the games there, guys.
Really? Is that how it works?
Oh, I see.
See, I can prove to you very quickly that wrestling is fake. You cannot prove to me very quickly that the NFL is fake. I rest my case. 888-368-1580. Can I just tell you something? I think that the lady basketball, they made a huge mistake. Huge mistake. Now, listen, not taking anything away from Caitlin Clark, okay? She's a great generational female basketball talent. Did I say anything there that you disagree with, Keon?
Nope.
Okay. So I've got it right. But here's the thing. I think that they buried the lead. Caitlin Clark. All you ever heard about. And then all of a sudden, South Carolina beats the Iowa. And had a perfect season. What? I never heard any of this. They were in the middle of it. Why didn't they talk more about that? 38 games to nothing? I mean, they beat everybody.
Well, maybe maybe you didn't hear about it, but I mean, Keon, you heard about it. I mean, I was hearing about it.
I didn't hear about it. Most people didn't hear about it.
The average person who might not have been paying very close attention until the end probably should have known that the stakes of this particular matchup involved an undefeated team.
And since this lady took over coaching them, they've only lost 3 games in 2 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dawn Staley's real good.
They're like 80-3, I think, is their record. I'm not sure. But that, I think, would be a bigger story than Caitlin Clark.
I think the last loss they had was against Iowa, and I think it was in the
Final Four
last year.
Yeah. And it was
I didn't know.
And there was some story stuff there too. Raven Johnson was not a great 3-point shooter, and Caitlin Clark waved her off and left her to shoot a 3 alone.
Oops.
And she did not take the shot. She was afraid to because she's just not a 3-point shooter. And so, there was some revenge going on there when she finally got her turn to guard Caitlin Clark. There was a whole back and forth there. ESPN could have built all of that stuff. They are the official broadcast partner of women's college hoops.
Yeah.
And they did a bad job.
Caitlin Clark still had 30 points even in the loss.
She did take 28 shots to get them, though.
Oh,
yeah. Well, but it's like you've been saying all along when we talked about this, Keon, Caitlin Clark is the offense for Iowa.
Yeah, which I
mean, if you look at last night's game, South Carolina's bench outscored Iowa's bench something like 38-0.
Yeah, they're good starters in Iowa, but they're not a deep team. And you have a bad shooting day from Caitlin Clark. That's ball game.
I don't want to take anything away from Caitlin Clark, but Lynette Woodard is right.
What did Lynette Woodard say?
She says that Caitlin did not break her record because when she played, they didn't have 3-pointers, and women used the same size ball as men did. So she's saying Caitlin Clark had it easier than she did, and maybe Lynette Woodard, had she had a shot at a 3-pointer, maybe she could have had even more points.
This is what I was trying to say about the Pete Maravich thing. It doesn't take away from what Caitlin Clark did. Like she's been awesome, but like you can't compare people's records when they didn't have a 3-point line.
Yeah, when it's not equal equal in all parts.
Pete Maravich didn't have a 3-point line, and freshmen weren't allowed to play when he was playing. So he actually played for 3 years. He played for 4. Like, it's just not the same thing. Lynette Woodard is in the same conversation of that.
Yep, generational goats. It's situational goats. I mean, Caitlin Clark is the best of right now. Lynette Woodard was the best of then. And had things been different, then who knows?
I thought it was very classy last night. Dawn Staley in the middle of celebrating the national championship, and even after having the last loss be to Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes, she's still on national television on the stand in front of all the fans, acknowledged Caitlin Clark as one of the greatest of all times. You see what I'm saying? She didn't say the greatest. She said one of the greatest of all times for their game.
It's two things. It's classy, but it's also smart. Yeah. Because if you'll make a mistake, if you start to tear down Caitlin Clark, now you have diminished what you have just accomplished.
Oh, sure. No.
So it's smart, but it's also classy to give her a tip of the hat. And I'm sure that was honest, heartfelt words.
By saying one of the greatest, I mean, she didn't take away from the Woodards and the Woodruffs and the Pistol Pete Maraviches and things like that.
And even someone like herself. And Dawn Staley accomplished a lot as a basketball player in her own right.
Yeah.
3-time Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
She won multiple National Player of the Year awards while she was playing in college. So, you gotta give her credit for that too.
I'm trying to decipher. I don't know what this is. I'm afraid to read it. Baker's Cocky Hen says Clark versus Leonard tomorrow to decide the GOAT. Is that more wrestling crap?
I don't know.
Who's Clark and Leonard?
I guess Clark would be Caitlin Clark, but I don't know. Does he mean Woodard?
When's the draft? Oh, I think, is that what you're saying, Baker's? But she's like quite old now, isn't she?
The draft is 2 weeks away for the women for the WNBA, isn't it?
Nah, he's talking about get these girls together and have them go one-on-one.
Okay, but like Lynette's 64 now. So it's not exactly going to be a fair matchup. Her prime was many years ago.
Yeah.
So let's talk now about the current state of things in our sports. I know we're running up against the clock here, but what the hell happened to the Diamondbacks? We blinked and they got swept.
Yeah.
First they lost their series to the Yankees, and I'm like, okay. And then they got swept by the Braves.
Yeah. Well, and the Braves owed them one. I mean, you remember last year, the Diamondbacks put it on the Braves pretty good. But, look, this is not a fully functioning team yet. We still have 2 pitchers that are not in the starting rotation. Eduardo Rodriguez, who's still on the 15-day IL, and you've got Jordan Montgomery, who's still getting in shape. He's in the minor leagues. He's throwing. Once those 2 guys join the lineup, it's going to help us on a regular basis. Right now, you got Gallen and you got Merrill Kelly, who are doing a hell of a job. But once you get to Tommy Henry and Ryan Nelson, even Brandon Pfaadt, or Fott, I guess is what the name is, you're running into some problems. And so you can easily pick off 2 or 3 games from these Diamondbacks. And we have Paul Sewald, our closer. He's also on the 15-day IL. So you don't have an established closer. So when you bring in other guys like Frias, or you bring in Miguel Castro or some of these other guys to kind of throw in there, they're just not able to close it out. I mean, Diamondbacks should have won 2 games out of 3 in Atlanta, and they gave it away. The bullpen gave it up.
Well,
so that's kind of what happened. I mean, you score 8 runs, you have them down in the 6th inning, 8-2, and they come back and win 9-8. So
it's not time to panic.
No, 10 games.
It doesn't feel good to see that they've only won 4 games and they've lost 6.
Yeah, 4 of 6. 4 of 10 games they've won though, and they should have won more. It's just
at least we're not getting blown out.
Exactly. I still say this team is going to be competitive. I still say there's nothing to worry about. No, Big George, no reason to panic yet. Let's wait till July or August and see what is happening then. Okay.
Well, I hope they sort this out.
They're going to be fine.
When we come back, we have some more Major League Baseball things that we need to talk about because strange things are afoot at the pitch clock, Ted. We'll talk about that. And, of course, we got, half hour to talk about as much sports stuff as we can. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
To celebrate everyone who's customized and saved hundreds on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, we got a savings siren that goes off every time someone saves. There it is. It's a really more savings, which really, okay, a lot of savings. Little annoying now. Will you stop saving for 5 seconds?
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Serving on a jury is your constitutional right. So when you get your jury summons in the mail, respond and put your rights to work. It's really that simple. Arizona has increased juror pay. If your company doesn't pay for jury service and you're picked to serve in Superior Court, you will get paid your lost wages up to $300 per day. Our courts are fair because you are there. Learn more at azcourts.gov/jury service. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Supreme Court.
You know, it seems like everybody's talking about the traffic on Valley Roads these days. You know what else everybody's talking about? The absolute best restaurant to take your family and friends to. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. Now with 2 Valley locations. No one does it better than Kasai, where talented Teppanyaki chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is dinnertainment at its best, where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's the perfect choice for any occasion. Choose from over 50 different items and combinations of teppanyaki. Looking for great dining without the show? Kasai offers an awesome selection on Asian-inspired dishes and tasty sushi. Happy hour deals daily from 6 p.m. and enjoy outdoor dining on the heated patio. So whether you're here for spring training, March Madness, or just to enjoy the Arizona sunshine, don't just take your guests to dinner. You take them to Kasai Japanese Steakhouse with 2 locations, Scottsdale and now in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppen.com. That's Kasai Teppen.com or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
If you're rolling over your 401k to an IRA soon, but not sure if you want to go all in on this crazy market, here's what many retiring professionals are doing. How about a safe and secure IRA offering a contractually guaranteed 10% income bonus that grows 7% annually guaranteed? Your income can double in 10 years. Meanwhile, neither your principal nor your retirement income is ever subjected to a market downturn. Even if the market crashes by 50%, you get the 10% bonus. Your income keeps growing at 7%, and your principal may grow without losses uncapped. You go up with the index, never down, forward, never back. Get a 10% income bonus with a 7% contractually guaranteed growth rate. I compare over 1,200 annuities with a fiduciary duty and can help you retire and stay retired.
Guarantees rely on the financial strength of the insurer, so compare with leading annuity authority Steve Jurich now. Visit IQannuity.com, IQannuity.com, IQannuity.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down. Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside Randy White. Got Keon Rose in the control room. You guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580 as we broadcast live in the Harman Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And all right, so we have a half hour left before Westwood One takes over and gives us the broadcast for the NCAA Men's Championship of Basketball. And I don't know.
What's the matter?
I'm
What's
just
going on?
trying to figure out if I'm going to watch it or not.
You mean the national championship?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you watch it?
Because I already know who's winning. This is going to be.
This is March Madness.
Okay.
I feel like we have an entire month's worth of knowing who's winning isn't a thing in this month. I mean,
that's
we
not
know
true because I actually have them as winning on my bracket.
So Jeffrey's staying here on that.
Okay, is it a perfect bracket? Did you get everything correct?
Yeah, but I'm not going to let you see it.
It's on CBS. I can go find it.
God damn it! All right, fine.
We can all see it.
It's perfect enough. More perfect than yours. Jeez, I can't even find you. Where are you?
I'm in the lower fifth of this thing, man. I don't know. I don't know where I am. I haven't looked at my bracket since Houston lost.
Wow.
What would be the point?
I'm
That's
just
when
happy
I closed up shop.
that my Val's bracket is just above Ralph's.
Just like 2 spots.
That's it. We're at the very bottom. Somebody named Brian Sniff has a worse bracket. Then there's Ralph. Then there's me.
Did you say the guy's name is Brian Sniff?
Yeah, I looked at his bracket. I think he had like GCU winning everything. So he's just a GCU fan that picked with his heart.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Good for you. But I'm scrolling up. Oh my God, you're right. There you are. I didn't have to scroll up. Keon.
Yeah.
Wow. See, this is the thing. This just shows you.
I'm not
Keon
alone.
knows everything about college basketball. I know nothing, and I've got a bracket because I did the radio station bracket, and so my bracket is on the first page.
Well,
with a chance of maybe doing the top 10. And I don't know anything. So
that's March Madness.
That proves you overthought it.
Yes, I waffle. That's part of my process. It's changing my picks back and forth.
It's easy when you don't know what you're doing, though. Click decisiveness.
And like clockwork, I have the greatest first round known to man, followed by nothing good after that. That's just how it always goes. Every year. It's like, oh, never mind. Felt good day one. That was a nice day.
Well, it's still anybody's game.
I felt good on the first day.
Sure. Oh, no, that's usually the way it goes for me, too.
Felt pretty good on the second day, too.
In the past, where we had some douchey sports talk show host types around.
Oh, yeah.
I would always put my bracket in there and just destroyed their brackets. I'm not doing funny stuff. I'm talking like I actually did brackets. And they're like, how does Jeffrey O'Brien? Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Guess you're not as good at sports as you thought. You should quit. So
it's an up and down thing every year. Like you have to.
And the moral of the story is they did.
You have to figure out what upsets are more likely to happen. I reached for a few upsets. Those did not occur. It was a pretty chalky year. So
remember
down I go.
Previous co-host he had the worst brackets ever because he was doing it like he was trying to gamble, which is all he ever did. And he was like, I'm trying to find value. You don't find value in a bracket, dummy. You try to pick the one who's going to actually win, not the one who's going to win you the most money. If you do it like a gambler, you're going to lose every time.
Oh,
and he did.
Our old friend.
Oh, boy.
No, Ralph has crabs. You're not allowed to have 2 brackets. Ralph and I did 2 brackets because one was for the idea, the other was for serious, because neither of us are allowed to win the money. So if you, were going after the money, you could only have 1 bracket. Because having more than 1 bracket is against the rules. So, 5th letter says, Randy, quick question.
Yes, sir.
How for the snakes?
Once again, a little slower, please.
Well, you said quick question, so I read it very fast.
Yeah, well, I can understand.
So answer it.
I didn't understand the question.
So now it's going to have to be a somewhat slower question, maybe.
How have the Snakes bets been in the first 5 innings of the games played? Have they been scoring quick, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been hitting the ball well. They've been scoring. They've been moving guys around. They haven't really been shut down offensively. It's just a matter of getting some pitching to hold out the other team. The other day, the last game in Atlanta, they had an 8-2 lead in the 6th inning and ended up losing 9-8. That tells you one thing. That tells you that the Atlanta bullpen held the offense at bay, and it tells you also that the Diamondbacks bullpen gave the game up, and they just were not able to stop Atlanta, and they're having a hard time closing games out. Look, as a Major League Baseball team, you score 8 runs. You should be able to hold them out. Even if they score a couple runs on you, should be able to finish the game out and take that away as a W. And the last 2 games against Atlanta were like that. The Diamondbacks jumped out to a lead, and then their bullpen couldn't hold them at bay. My opinion, it's early in the season. Torey Lovullo and Mike Hazen are not going to let these starters like Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly go long. Even if they have a great game going, they're not going to let them go a full game unless it's some sort of a no-hit bid or maybe a perfect game. That's the only way they would allow them to stay in past 6 or 7 innings. These guys, they're thinking the long game, not the short game. And right now, the Diamondbacks just need to get healthy, 2 healthy pitchers in the starting rotation to help them. And they've got to get the bullpen some relief. They've got to have guys that are going to, not pitch so much. The bullpen's pretty tired. We'll be in Colorado tomorrow night. I'm sorry. And we'll see how they bounce back from this road trip.
So to give you an idea, the last 4 games the Diamondbacks lost. The last game to the Yankees, they lost by 1 score. To the Braves, 1 score. The next game, 1 score. Then this last game by 3. So that is not getting blown out. Then you have to start saying, okay, very close. So if there are a lot of close scores but no W's, who's responsible for that?
Well, it's not really a responsibility thing. Like I said, the Diamondbacks are doing sort of a closer by committee. I mean, you might see Miguel Castro come in the game. He might throw an inning or 2. You might see, depending on the matchups, you might see Kyle Nelson come into the game. You might see Luis Frias come into the game. The problem is Paul Sewald is supposed to be our closer. He's still on the IL, and he's going to be in the IL for a 15-day IL, and then he's going to have to rehab and get back up to speed and get back into the rotation. Once you get Paul Sewald in there, now it's a different story for the bullpen. You're not using multiple guys on multiple evenings, and you can bring your closer in, let him do his job. Second phase to this thing is Eduardo Rodriguez, who hurt himself in spring training. He's still on the IL. He's got to come back. And Jordan Montgomery, who joined us late in spring training, he's getting up to speed. He'll be joining the team here probably within the next week or so. He's pitching, I think, tonight in the minor leagues, and they'll see where he's at. So he's going to jump into our starting rotation and be able to give the Diamondbacks an opportunity, to be ahead in a 3rd game. So it'll be like Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Jordan Montgomery, probably your 3 guy, and then Brandon Pfaadt as your 4 guy until Eduardo Rodriguez comes in. Problem is the bullpen is just tired. They've been using them a lot in a lot of games. The first 10 games, the bullpen has been busy.
I think Keon looked like, remember when we were kids and you'd lose the track of the horizontal on the TV? You know, gotta get the lines off this thing.
But
you gotta adjust the fine tuning.
While the sun is in my face, I saw something that was really funny.
You look radiant, by the way, Keon.
Thank
radiant.
You. And I appreciate that.
Well, intermittently,
at points. So Odell Beckham Jr. in 2017, when we had the last full solar eclipse, was recorded looking directly into the sun because he is an idiot, as we know.
So that's why you can't catch a ball.
So here's the thing.
Can't see it.
Odell Beckham Jr. before looking into the sun, 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns per season, 3 Pro Bowls total. Odell Beckham Jr., who has played more games since looking into the sun, since that moment, 635 yards, averaging 4 touchdowns a season.
See,
no
kids,
Pro Bowl.
This is why you cannot stare directly at the sun. Don't do that.
The video of him is hilarious because he's staring to the sun and blinking, and then he's looking away to kind of get the pain to go down, and then he looks back again because he's very stupid.
Good Lord. No amount of money gets you your eyesight back.
Yeah.
His job is to see things and catch it.
Let me finish. So stop asking me for money, Mr. Wilbur.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, no amount of money will get your eyesight back.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
Mr. Wilbur.
Oh, geez, this again. Baker's cocky head says, I definitely meant Lynette Woodard versus Clark. Show us what you got or stop talking, lady. Well, she might show you what she has is a broken hip or something. She's like 64.
She's 64.
Yeah.
It's not going to make sense for them to play.
Nobody wants to see that.
Fifth letter says, thanks, Randy. Taking the Snakes run line in the first 5 along with UConn tonight. Got Gallon on the hump.
Yeah, I mean, considering I think tonight or tomorrow night's pitching against the Diamondbacks is the one where the D-backs scored like 16 runs. So, I mean, I would say it's a good bet, but I'm not putting money on it. So,
Slow-Mo Zoe says Diamondbacks need Bauer. Yeah.
Well, it's
Trevor Bauer.
I wouldn't have a problem with it personally, but
I probably would be a little bit wary. But as far as it goes, as far as legality of things go, he's just got a kink. But outside of that, he has not done anything technically wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
Big George says, Randy, the Diamondbacks bullpen and network request failed.
I didn't know they were a network, but Big George, the Diamondbacks bullpen is tired.
Oh, here it is. The Diamondback bullpen woes are inexcusable. Mike Hazen should have done more to get some arms in the offseason. Torey Lovullo can't manage his bullpen. It just stinks.
Well, it's like I explained, Big George. They're not going to be letting these starters go 8-9 innings. They're just not, unless it's some incredible game. Merrill Kelly, he threw that game. He had a great game going, and they pulled him in the 7th. They're just not going to let these guys go. They're thinking the long term, not the short term. 10 games does not win you a championship, Big George.
And I think we've gone over this before. Mike Hazen's got to figure out how to put the team together on a budget. He doesn't have the deep,
that's true.
He doesn't have Dodger pockets. He doesn't have deep Yankee pockets. It's just you got to figure out how to get the best talent that your ownership group is willing to spend for. They're not. And I think he's done a pretty good job, all things considered.
He's spent on starting pitching, and now he's going to work on relief pitching. And I anticipate this team making some moves. I can see them making some moves here as we head towards the trade deadline in the middle of the season.
It's too early. Everyone calm down.
Everybody relax.
I don't like the way it looks either. Doesn't feel good to get swept.
It would be one thing, though, Jeffrey, if they weren't scoring runs or they weren't hitting the ball. This team is hitting the ball well.
Hefty Lefty says, I thought championships in baseball were first to 4 wins.
They have to play 162 games first. Then they start the playoffs. Let me remind you, last year, the Diamondbacks, kind of like what the Suns are in the middle of, the Diamondbacks got a wild card. They had to play the wild card series. Then they had to play the NLDS. Then they had to play the NLCS. Then they had to play the World Series. The season is not over. Everyone relax. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, Berg agrees. He says, George, please take a step back from the cliffs there in Carlsbad. It'll be okay. It will be okay. Just, But let's talk about, Major League Baseball and the union of Major League Baseball. They're arguing. They got upset with each other. So here's what's going on. As you know, there's a lot of injuries to pitchers right now. If for some reason, and it seems silly to me, but maybe you can tell me why it's not, the Major League Baseball Players Union says, you know why? Because they took 2 seconds off the pitch clock. What? I guess in December, they went from 20 seconds when someone's on base to 18 seconds when somebody's on base.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying, well, that right there, ever since they did that, then all of a sudden all these pitchers are getting hurt. And the league is unwilling to acknowledge that we've done a study that shows the effects of these changes. And the players are saying that's what's going on. They're unhappy. Everyone's unhappy. And it's Major League Baseball's fault. And Major League Baseball came out and said, you guys are dumb. Now, I'm paraphrasing quite a bit here, but that's basically what happened.
Paraphrasing.
Just a little bit.
You guys are stupid.
You guys are dumb. Okay, here's what they said. Their statement ignores the empirical evidence and much more significant long-term trend. Blah, 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 blah. All right, cut the crap. Randy, 2 seconds off the on-base time is 20 before. It's 18 seconds now on the pitch clock when people are on base. Are they right about this causing injuries?
I can't see that being an injury causer. What I can see more is what the league is saying, and in this case, I'd have to kind of look deeper at what the league is saying. They're talking about higher spin rates, more violent deliveries of the baseball is what's causing some of these injuries. Now, they since they've had a crackdown on this spider tack stuff, the pitching staffs have had to come up with a better way to make the ball spin harder to get that kind of movement that they want, and that there might be something to that. So as Major League Baseball is looking at this, and as the MLBPA, of course, the MLBPA is always going to be on the side of the players. They're always going to say, "Oh no, you're making us work harder, and we're getting injured." And Major League Baseball is like, get over it. It's time to buckle up, Buttercup, and step out there and be a man. So I think there's something to be said about the way these pitchers are being trained to throw the baseball and try to make the baseball move. And I think there's also something to be said about Major League Baseball making this more of an offensive sort of sport where they're trying to give the advantage to the hitter rather than to the pitcher.
Well, let's just throw a little bit of thought. Now, I'm going to start off by saying I agree with Major League Baseball, which I hate. I hate that I agree with them.
I do too.
This is just a bunch of boo-boo.
It's a broken clock twice a day situation. You don't have to feel bad about that.
So here's the thing. One of the things you have to sort of consider is that if you're in a rush, now let's say that I don't think that the difference in time is that much of a rush, but let's say you're in a rush. You're going to go to what? You're trying to decide, let's just go to my go-to, which is the fastball. So are they throwing more fastballs in haste? And maybe that's why some of the injuries are going up? Or is that just a weak idea?
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with injuries happening. The pace of play, it does not hurt the pitcher any more than it does the hitter. You're trying to tell me that the hitter's got to get ready early and he's in a rush too? And so are strikeouts up? I don't think so. I think this is a kind of like you said, Jeffrey. I think it was very eloquently put. This is a dumb point by Major League Baseball Players Association. But I would like to see them try to quit trying to make this such an offensive-minded game, because Major League Baseball, they want more action. They want more people to be excited, and they want a pace of play to make the game quicker because people are losing interest. That's the thing that's going on here.
Well, you know what probably this is then, with the union stepping up and saying all this? This is something they're going to give up on to get something else. They're going to make a big deal out of this. They're going to go to war over this, and then they will compromise over this to get the other thing they really want.
Maybe. I think they're going to have
just really dumb, like Major League Baseball says.
I think the Major League Baseball Players Association is going to have to come with harder facts than what they have right now, because I don't believe what they have right now is legitimate facts.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come up with some sort of biometrics that's going to prove that this is hurting the pitcher by speeding up the game clock. I don't think it is.
See, we were supposed to be out of this segment by 4:15. Did we speed up our game clock? No. We did it old-fashioned style with no regard for time or no regard for anything. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
This March, enjoy some of the madness at Phoenix's hottest adult cabaret, Platinum Plus, on 32nd Street, just south of the 202. Open daily to 3 a.m. Our newly renovated 16,000 square foot mega club features 3 bars on 2 floors, VIP bottle service and rooms, a full kitchen, and of course, beautiful entertainers. Platinum Plus is your place for bachelor or birthday parties, victory celebrations, or a night out on the town. Platinum Plus on 32nd Street, just south of the 202.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harman Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmansolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmonsolar.com.
Do you need equipment for your business but don't have the cash? I can help. I'm Dylan Cohen at JR Capital, and we offer no money down financing on new and used equipment. Excavators, forklifts, dozers, tractors, cranes, plows, and more. If it's essential to your business, I will help you get the money you need. It's faster and easier than asking your banker. Call me, Dylan Cohen, at 602-834-7353. That's 602-834-7353. Or visit moneyradio.com and click on Finance with Dylan.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy?
Totalmente.
And you get unlimited 5G data, $25 a line for 4 lines on the unlimited plan at an amazing price with no contracts. Should you switch to Total by Verizon? Definitely.
Totalmente.
Find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate without a pay plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
You know, it seems like everybody's talking about the traffic on Valley Roads these days. You know what else everybody's talking about? The absolute best restaurant to take your family and friends to. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. Now with 2 Valley locations. No one does it better than Kasai, where talented Teppanyaki chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is dinnertainment at its best, where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's the perfect choice for any occasion. Choose from over 50 different items and combinations of teppanyaki. Looking for great dining without the show? Kasai offers an awesome selection on Asian-inspired dishes and tasty sushi. Happy hour deals daily from 6 p.m. and enjoy outdoor dining on the heated patio. So whether you're here for spring training, March Madness, or just to enjoy the Arizona sunshine, don't just take your guests to dinner. You take them to Kasai Japanese Steakhouse with 2 locations, Scottsdale and now in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppen.com. That's Kasai Teppen.com or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
Hi, I'm Ralph Romano.
And I'm Neil Lynch.
And we're the Weekend Warriors.
So, Ralph, what are the Weekend Warriors all about?
Well, we talk about sports.
National sports?
Of course.
Regional sports?
Sure.
Arizona sports?
Yeah. And we also interview local athletes, coaches, and sports-related business owners to share their amazing stories.
But what if they don't have an amazing story?
Then we talk about something else. You know what, Neil? You're fired.
Again. Well, listen in for great sports talk, amazing interviews, and to see if I have a job next week.
You won't. It's the Weekend Warriors every Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Just fired Neil right here on our right on the promo.
You had it coming. Listen, we're going to talk about the Coyotes and why the mayor of Scottsdale hates them. We'll have to do that tomorrow. We just don't have time. I don't know what the hell that's all about, but yeah. Ralph Has Crabs says, why is Ralph so mean to Neil? Firing him on air. It's unprofessional.
We just fired him right there.
It's okay. Neil gets fired every week.
Yeah, they've been friends for a long time, and I don't think Neil or really anyone takes Ralph seriously. So I wouldn't worry about it. Quiet Cannon says Babylon B said that Caitlin Clark is going to join the WNBA to get out of the spotlight. There's more demand for college than pro when it comes to women's sports.
Oh boy.
Who, by the way, is Babylon B?
Which is weird. That's like a
it's like
the Onion, but more conservative, I guess.
Ah, I see.
I just think it's weird to me that the demand for women's college basketball is so high because it's like people will watch women play basketball.
Ratings
and
are
then
bonkers.
The same women become professionals and like nothing, just crickets. I don't know. I got nothing.
It's odd.
It's the same human beings. Nothing's changing.
Slow-Mo Zoe says, I think it's see-through pants. That's the problem. He's talking about baseball. He's not talking about women's basketball anymore. Now that you brought up the idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says pitchers are trying to cover up their junk while they're throwing a pitch, and they're just not pitching naturally. So they get hurt
to a lot of injuries.
Don't think that has anything to do with anything.
Trying to stop people from
according to
the
the
bat
union.
Balls, you know? Yeah.
Kiss the Cook says soon. Derrick Henry said he would have been a Cowboy fan if they'd contacted him. Damn, Jera. You must be suffering from mental constipation. Okay. Not even close to anything we've been talking about for the last hour and a half. But thank you.
Seems like this whole show's been that way.
Yeah, a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Moist One says, spot on, Randy.
Thank you.
Spot on.
About what?
I don't know. Big George says it's still early. I know that. It's early in the Major League Baseball season. I just don't like what I'm seeing. Why do you always say the same things I say, George?
But also, there's 10 games into the Major League Baseball season on a team with injuries. You're just not going to see the best of what that team is. It's just why panic? Yeah. Why panic?
Bruno Baller says Randy probably remembers how many times Billy Martin got fired and then rehired by George Steinbrenner and the Yankees.
Boy, that was fun. Watching Steinbrenner and Billy Martin go at it. That was fun.
I had a boss who I worked for 6 years, and he fired me 4 times, and he forgot every time.
Wow. He forgot he fired you?
He's just a temperamental guy.
What does that mean? He rehired you every time?
No, it just he
just forgot you were fired, and you just showed up for work, and he's like, "Hey, Keon."
Yep. The program director was basically like, "Just come back tomorrow. He'll forget." So
wow,
and he did every single time.
Jeffrey and I have been fired a couple of times together.
I've never been fired in radio.
That's true.
In fact, I've never been fired from a job in my life.
That's the only job I've been fired from, and I don't even know if I should admit it.
On the flip of that, I have fired many.
Yeah, so that's true. The karmic balance is probably still in your favor.
Well, that's the thing. If I were wrong, then karma, I would have been fired more. But I've never been fired, but I fired many. That shows you I'm a righteous dude.
Except for that one time when we got fired from the station.
I did not get fired with you. I left weeks before you got fired.
Okay.
Hey, maybe I would have gotten fired with you had I stayed, but I didn't.
Oh, it's all right. You probably just don't remember.
It's a strong point.
It's all right.
I not only do I remember, I have witnesses. I get. If you want to take this crap to court, let's go. Let's go.
Who said anything about court?
I got people who will back me up on this.
Thought we avoided court by negotiating our exit.
Not a court of
There's
law.
no hour.
The people's court.
Unless maybe your brain took you into some sort of odd, sort of self-protective, fugish state where you really just saw me there every day when I wasn't there. I became your imaginary friend.
Well, I mean, I've maybe.
Random Texter asks a very good question. Somebody should look this up. Where does the word fired come from? They maybe because they set people on fire when they were bad employees.
Ooh.
You're fired. Can we do that?
Ooh.
I like that.
Like
idea.
if you pull, come in and close the door. Gonna have to fire you now.
I got this flamethrower real cheap at Costco. Do you like it? I can't hear it. They're screaming. I can't. Can you stop? It's very distracting.
It's from a 19th century pun where before people said you were fired, they would tell you were discharged. And since you discharge a gun and you fire a gun, people just thought it was funnier to say fired.
So it's
fired out of the building.
Yes.
You mean has nothing to do with a flamethrower?
No.
That's a shame.
I was kind of hoping to use a flamethrower.
I'd rather use a flamethrower.
Right?
Thing is, if I start walking around the office saying, "Does anybody have a lighter?" Everybody's like, "Pow," everybody leaves. Guess we'll do this on Monday.
We don't just want you gone. We want you gone at the speed of a bullet leaving a gun.
I want you gone at the speed of smoke going up through the air vents so everybody knows that it happened.
Seems like a homicide to me, but that's all right. That's
what do you mean? Homicide.
Homicide.
No. It's a homicide.
Firing.
Homicide. Firing.
Really?
Tomato.
Yeah.
Well, one, you get to keep living after you lose your job. The other one, you don't.
Are trap doors against the
yeah,
law?
see, there you go. There you go.
So I can fire somebody, just hit a button, they go, and they go through a
what
trap
about
door.
an enormous Venus flytrap?
Like in Austin Powers? You
I
just
like
fall
that.
out of your chair
Yeah.
and then there's
See what I'm saying?
fire
Just an
coming out.
enormous Venus flytrap. Just
I'll have to look into that. But that's all the time we got. Back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Enjoy the championships at the Daily Blender on 1580 The Fanatic.
Live from the Harman Solar Studios in Scottsdale. This is